Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. We recently produced a Brooklyn Nets video surrounding the comments Charles Barkley and Shaq had to say about Kyrie Irving, and they were there, like, kind of giving their thoughts on the Nets because they had lost the game to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And, you know, Charles Barkley and these guys basically laid it on and they said what they thought about the team. And then today we saw a comment from one of our viewers on the channel, which basically said, and I'm just kind of, you know, this is not exactly what the person said. He said, I am from Brooklyn and our team is a mess. That's what the viewer said. He said, I'm from Brooklyn and our team is a mess, because he was commenting on the video we produced about Charles Barkley and Kyrie Irving and all of this, right? And that made me begin to think. And I started thinking back to the beginning of the season, because going into this season, I vividly remember saying that, yes, we understand that the Nets have the greatest odds to win the NBA championship. I actually picked the Nets to win it all, because I just thought that when you look at their trio, you just didn't have a trio out there that could really score at the level of these guys. And I just thought it would be really, really hard to beat this team. However, I did say, you can go back and look at our earlier videos, I said that I had this kind of eerie feeling that something was going to derail this team, and it would have nothing to do with basketball on the court. I always had this feeling. I said that I felt as if there was going to be some drama that was going to get in the way of this team being successful. I said that. I really had that feeling, and there was no evidence for that at the time. It was just a feeling that I had. If you look at this Nets current big three, I don't think they have played, think about this, more than 20 games together. I'm talking about the trio, more than 20 games together in almost 2 seasons. Think about that. In almost 2 seasons, this trio that was assembled last season, James Harden was the final piece, they haven't played more than 20 games together, which means that they have no real chemistry. They have no chemistry. And now, if you look at the situation with them as we currently speak, Kevin Durant is out, and he's going to be out for a few more weeks. So that adds a little bit more uncertainty. And then you think of the situation, you think about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving recently made it crystal clear in a media interview, press conference. He said he will not be getting vaccinated, and he's not changed his position whatsoever, which creates even more uncertainty, especially when this team heads into the playoffs, because when they get into the playoffs, there's going to be a situation which I think is unprecedented and really is incomprehensible to see a star player only be able to play road games. And as we currently speak, if I look at the NBA standings right now, the Brooklyn Nets are the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, right? So if they stay in the top 4, then you're going to create a scenario in which I think in the first round, or maybe round 1, probably they're going to have home court advantage, probably round 1 and round 2. And then from that point forward, you're really going to start getting the benefit of Kyrie Irving on the road. But then who wants to put themselves in a situation when you're the road team? And I mean, it's a mess when you think about it. And I think that's what that viewer was talking about. And I think all of this uncertainty around the Nets creates, in my personal opinion, a golden opportunity for Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, I think all of this drama that this team has going on, I think one of the teams that will definitely benefit off of it is the Milwaukee Bucks. I think, you know, a lot of people forget that this team just won the NBA championship. Giannis delivered one of the greatest single game performances you will ever see in an NBA Finals in your life. Of all of the NBA Finals that have been played, that game that he had, that 50-point game, I think he went 14 out of 17 from the free. I mean, you will be hard pressed to show me another game that was better than that performance. I mean, it was just incredible. So Giannis and these guys, right? They already know how to win a championship. If you look at the team this season, if you look at some of their team stats, right? They're not going to blow you out, but they're pretty good. They're number 5 in offense and scoring. They're scoring about 111.7 points per game. They're number 5. They're number 5 in offense. They're number 3 in rebounding. Rebounding is critical, right? You're going to need to be able to rebound the ball, because if you can rebound the ball, you can limit possessions, you control the game longer, you control the ball longer. So that's good. They're number 7 in three-point shooting, right? Top 10 in three-point shooting. And overall, they're the 7th ranked defense in the NBA. And by the way, they are being led by arguably the best player in the world, and also one of the best leaders in the sport. Giannis, no one really talks about his leadership. No one really talks about that. If you talk about leadership, they usually mention players like LeBron, Chris Paul, these type of guys, but no one really talks about Giannis being a leader, and he is a leader. One of the best leaders in all of basketball. And then if you look at his numbers, again, he's having another MVP caliber season. I just looked at one of the rankings. I think it was the Kia Defensive Player of the Year ranking. One of the rankings I just saw this morning, they have him at the top of the rankings for Defensive Player of the Year, which means that this guy this season could capture another Defensive Player of the Year, which would mean Giannis would have 2 regular season MVPs and 2 Defensive Player of the Year. That's pretty impressive. The only guy I can think of that has that type of resume is not even Kawhi Leonard. Right, that would make him and Kawhi Leonard the 2 active players in the NBA that would have 2 Finals MVPs and 2 Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year awards. If you look at his individual stats, again, Giannis is Giannis, right? He's averaging 28.5 points per game. You expect nothing less. 53% from shooting from the field, 28% from the three-point line, shooting 71% from the free throw line. He's improved his free throw shooting percentage by 3 percentage points. He's getting you 11.2 rebounds, 6 assists per game, only 3.5 turnovers, but he's getting you 1 steal and 1.5 blocks per game. So Giannis pretty much is doing everything for you. I recently read a quote from Steve Kerr when he was talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he said this guy can guard all 5 positions on the floor, similarly to what Draymond Green gives them. But what Draymond Green doesn't give them is the defensive, the rebounding and the scoring, and the fact that he can put so much pressure on your defense, especially in the paint. Draymond doesn't give him any of that, right? So they have this type of guy that's leading this team, and I think if the Nets find some way to trip over their own shoelaces, if they find some way to stink it up, I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to take advantage of it, because let's just be honest. Of all of the teams that we have currently in the Eastern Conference, the Bucks are the only ones really that have made it to the NBA Finals, with the exception of the Toronto Raptors. So the Bucks know exactly what it takes to get to the finals. The Nets just have too much drama for me. And it's not like as if the Nets are the only team in NBA history that has had to deal with a lot of drama. They're not. You can even think about the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, but the fundamental difference between these 2 teams here is that at least, although Shaq and Kobe had their personal issues, at least they were playing games together. At least we weren't asking questions of whether or not Shaq or Kobe would be available for games in the playoffs on home. I mean, that scenario didn't exist. These guys were at least able to play on the court. But with the Nets, it's just a totally different situation, because KD is injured. James Harden early this season, he wasn't himself. And then now, of course, you have Kyrie Irving who won't be available for home game. So the entire thing is a mess. Somehow the Nets, although they're the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, I just feel like this team hasn't been able to get out of second gear. I think it's their talent that's carrying them. But the chemistry, I just don't see it. And I think if any team out there is going to be able to capitalize on some of the blunders that this team is going to make, especially going into the postseason, I think is the Milwaukee Bucks. I really think so, because arguably, I don't see anybody really being able to stop Giannis again to get into the finals. We're talking about, there's no one, right? There's no one. So we'll have to see. Obviously, there's a long season ahead of us. A lot of things can happen. A lot of things can change. But for now, these are my thoughts and opinions on the situation. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about everything that I said? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day, and catch you guys on the next episode.